So, Paul and Guy, tell me about today.
Bloody hard work. I must just be getting old.
I think for stuff like this, it's really easy to convince yourself to turn around or not to do it.
I think it's not knowing what to expect. It adds a whole new element of trying to find them, where they might be, whether they might be climbable. We're going to try and make the first ascent of 6,800 metre peak. It's called Janhukot. It's quite interesting that it's not been climbed despite 5 or 6 attempts.
It's a very attractive looking peak.
Beautiful granite peak right at the head of the Gangotri glacier.
I tried it before once, 14 years ago with Malcolm. Didn't make it, just bad weather.
It's all very well having a great idea. You've got to convince somebody else that it's a good idea and that they want to come along.
Pretty much whatever Malcolm suggested, I was going to sign up for.
It's really important for me to go with people who I like and trust. I know that we'll all do absolutely what we can to look after one another.
Getting that relationship right can be the difference a lot of times between success and failure. I'd say out of the three of us, Malcolm's the strongest technical climber.
Malcolm is very driven, very technically competent, doesn't get fazed by too much.
Guy's got the proper mountain professional competitive instinct about having a small rucksack.
Paul is a very good climber as well.
But he's got immense experience of alpine climbing.
We've reached the end of the road, we've reached Gangotri.
About a 3-day walk from Gangotri up to base camp.
We got the first of a series of sort of slight illnesses that people have had. Guy got a bit of a bug.
Yeah, not so great today. So I woke up really early this morning, sore throat, a bit snotty. Didn't think really much of it. Went on the hike today, which is pretty easy. Quite a lot of height gain, but nothing I haven't done before. Just felt really ropey.
So that was all a bit worrying. And we had several discussions as to whether to put off starting to move up the mountain, whether it would be better to just stay at Gangotri like in a rest house at a lower altitude with toilets and food and things like that. But we took the decision to push on. So we've started to see the big mountains now, the 6,000ers, and the impression it makes on me is just to think, I haven't got a chance of getting up there. So we've started the walking, just walking really slowly along paths, but breathing's not coming too fluidly. I feel hot, and it just looks so far up there. And I just think, fuck, I can't do it. How am I ever going to be able to do that? Do I even want to do it? And so what I hope I've come to learn over time is to kind of trust the process and just keep walking. So all we've got to do today is walk to the first campsite, and then next day walk to the next campsite. And just trust the process. Trust that by the time we've set up base camp, had a bit of a rest, done the acclimatisation climb, the possibility of actually climbing something will start to become real.
I think this has to be one of my favourite times of these trips. We're away from the world, left as a small team. At this stage there's no real pressure or build-up, it's just us at base camp.
So yeah, we're up at 4,500 metres, established in the base camp, really nice area, very pleasant.
So it certainly feels a lot more real. It's, you're just fully involved in the environment and what's going on.
We're starting to get a feel for what the weather patterns are, which are interesting. It's going to make the climbing fairly tricky. In the afternoons, we get really strong winds, and that may have an impact on how we do our climb.
How many days are we planning to be out?
Well, so we got a glacier walk up 2 days, climb 5 days, contingency 2 days, glacier walk out 1 day, glacier.
7, 8.
in one of these trips, there's such a huge world of things that you can do a little bit differently or a little bit better next time. It's one of the great things about climbing, and I think that keeps people at it. You never actually will reach your potential because there's always something you can do to just get a notch better at it.
Been travelling now, I don't know, maybe 2.5 weeks, and we still haven't seen the bloody mountain, and finally today we get to see it, so it's pretty special to be able to actually see it, and it's a great relief that it's still here after all these years.
It's a culmination of a lot of hard work over the last year at least to get here, and we finally got it in front of us.
I think there's something special about climbing in places that are so far from anybody else.
It's a great looking peak, it's a good looking line, it's a unfinished challenge that needs to be put to bed.
And so as soon as I saw it, first thing I did, not on our route.
I'm prepared that what I'm doing, I accept that there is risk, and I accept I'm doing it for the right reasons. I accept, therefore, that there is a chance things can go wrong. And I'm happy to make that because of the reward of what I'm doing. We did our usual, went to bed early for the 1 o'clock wake up, and I don't think I slept a wink. We started on a new routine, so no breakfast and just a drink. This meant as near as damn it, we set off on time at 1:30. It was a beautiful night, not much wind, a clear sky and a bright moon. We arrived at the Bergstrand by 3 o'clock and headed on up.
Everything else falls away, so all that sort of worry, all that tension, it doesn't matter anymore because you're on the climb and you're just getting on with it, and that's what we do. We've probably made somewhere in the region of about 800 metres upward progress. I think we've had a bloody good day.
First camp on the southwest ridge of Janhukot. Mission accomplished, just under 6,000 metres.
Yeah.
So, good day. I think everybody's really enjoyed it. I think it's got a little bit cold early on.
So this morning I managed to upturn my rucksack and 2 bags of stuff dropped out of it, never to be seen again. Gloves, spare gloves, glasses, all my drugs, nothing absolutely mission critical, but lots of things I really didn't want to lose. So Paul and Guy, tell me about today.
It's been really hard work. Can't get enough oxygen in your lungs or your legs.
Yeah, I think it's just the amount we're doing. It's pretty long days and pretty unforgiving.
I think Malcolm would say that I'm very good at suffering, which is a big thing to be able to just grin and bear it.
So we found this superb bivouac space, and this is Paul abseiling down into it. And up there, in the mist, is a summit.
We're looking up, we can see our target, it's feeling achievable. Let's see what the weather's doing tomorrow and let's hope for a good day.
It's nice to get into the tent and zip it up and just shut it all out for a while.
This is day 4. Weather's not ideal, and we're going to go for it.
It's a big unknown day. You're always so close to your margins. We've now been climbing for about 7 hours.
That was very, very scary.
Give us a wave! Brilliant! Well done, Malcolm!
It's gone on and on and on. It's been a long day, such a team effort. Really good.
After all weeks and hours and days of effort, there we were on the unclimbed summit of Janhukot.
That's probably the hardest climb I've done. Felt like a really big release getting to the top and actually making it.
Yeah, there's a lot of memories here that'll live with us for a long, long time.
In climbing, I think there are a lot of people who think that in order to climb new routes or unclimbed mountains feel they're somehow missing something that they need to have. It's a sense of permission. I think anybody who is prepared to put the time in to organise one of these trips could go on it.
There's these brilliant experiences to be had.
The idea of going off and climbing an unclimbed mountain is just hugely compelling.
And the rewards you can get from it are amazing. I would love other people, younger people, to get that as well.